Greetings to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Wherever you are tonight, of course, on top of the agenda, it is the African Cup of Nations second semi-final between the Pharaohs of Egypt and, of course, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. The game is currently going on, and that will be of course, top of the agenda tonight as we take you on a trip across the money spinning world of sports. Let me attempt to give you a preview of quick rundown of what to look at on the show tonight. We'll be talking, obviously, about the African Cup of Nations. We'll take a look at, of course, Nigeria Professional Football League. We'll also talk about grassroots football. Then, of course, we'll travel abroad, take a look at what is happening with the 2022 Winter Olympics to be held in Beijing. As a matter of fact, the opening ceremony is tomorrow, but some events have started taking place. So we'll talk about some of those things. Then we'll also talk about the politics, of course, around sports. That's the outlook of the show. I won't be doing this alone. At some point, I will be joined by a certain group of people who will give us their insights on what is happening in your fast-paced and amazing, money-spinning, and very entertaining world of sports. Let's take a breather, pause, gather our thoughts, and get into the AFCON segment. All right, so we're into it. Let's just give you a situation report. We'll be your eyes and your ears, just in case you're not able to see what is going on between the Pharaohs of Egypt and the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Will be your eyes and your ears. Situation report as we speak. Second semi-final currently going on between Egypt and Cameroon. Let's just quickly tell you what's goalless at halftime. Play just resumed. So we'll show to you now what the situation report is, and that's it on your screen. It's been a ding-dong affair. Both sides have had their chances, and I must say that the pitch is a bit slippery, and both sides have had to cope with that. And I do feel that the center referee, Gassama, is being in charge of the game. He's been on top of the game, and so very interesting to see this game go on. And of course, as we continue with the show, we will talk about all the things happening in the amazing world of sports. All right, let's move on the show. Let me quickly introduce my partner on the show tonight. He's going to be with me from a large part of the show. It's my pleasure to introduce Bimbo Adeola, the CEO of 27 July Sports Network, a veteran sports journalist and well-respected voice in sports journalism in Nigeria. Greetings to you, top striker. Thanks for joining me on the show tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here once again. And of course, the feast of football is still on in Africa, and we are just enjoying everything that Cameroon has got to offer us this time.
All right. I know you were able to see the first half. Of course, we're on set. We may not be able to see the game currently going on. But your thoughts on the first half? What caught my attention was the pitch appears like that it's a bit slippery, and both sides have had their chances, although no goal was scored.
Yeah, most of the pitches hosting the African Nations Cup are suspect, I must say. And you recall one of the reasons why a game was moved to another stadium at some point. And talking about the game that we're watching right now, it's been a ding-dong affair. Cameroon started like a house on fire. Egypt kept it nice, slow, and easy. And the Lions have had the best opportunity to really put the Egyptians to the sword. Right now, they've been the brighter and better team so far. Not the best of 45 minutes, I must say, but Egyptians have tried as much as they can to frustrate the Lions, who definitely are under pressure, playing before their fans, hosts of the African Cup of Nations. So it's not been too easy for the Cameroonians. We hope in the second half, Egypt will come out. Let's see how adventurous they can be. Let's enjoy. It's not really been the best of 45 minutes.
All right. Okay. So trust us. If anything happens, we'll revert to that game while we're live on set. If anything happens, of course, we will be notified and we'll quickly talk about it. But I want to get your thoughts with regards to what happened yesterday. Silence of Burkina Faso and the Teranga Lions of Senegal. It ended 3-1 in favor of the Senegalese. Before we talk about all the other aspects of the game, your thoughts, and if, I don't know if you were surprised, maybe that wasn't the outcome you expected.
Oh, well, bookmakers already tipped the Senegalese to beat Burkina Faso, so it would have been out of place, so to say, if the Burkinabes shocked the Senegalese yesterday. It was just too much for the Burkinabes to contain the Sane, the Idrissa, Diallo, Chekou Kouyaté, and Mendy in goal for Senegal. They were just too much for the Burkinabes. And the Burkinabes just gifted 2 of the 3 goals yesterday, schoolboy errors, and they paid dearly for it. And Senegal, they deserve where they are right now. Recall that the last edition of the African Nations Cup, they played as far as the final. And before the tournament started, Senegal was one of those teams to do well in the tournament. So we are seeing the best of the Senegalese team at least until yesterday, and we expect them to really rev it up when they get to the final against Cameroon or Egypt. So for Burkinabes, fantastic tournament for them. They got to the last 4, which is not too good, which is not too bad for them, and they can only improve when Cote d'Ivoire comes calling the next time around in the African Nations Cup.
We saw the Stallions against the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia. They looked good on the day and they defeated the Tunisians. So the question will be, what did they fail to do against the Teranga Lions? Because a lot of people expected an explosive game and all, but it just appears like they were there for the taking, and the Senegalese just took the game.
Maybe too much respect for the Senegalese. At a time like this, when the competition gets to this level, you don't respect any opponent again. Perhaps they respected the big names that they were up against yesterday. That's number 1. Number 2, they allowed the Senegalese at the midfield. We found that the Senegalese bossed the midfield and started giving the Burkinabes a lot of pressure. And again, second goal or the third goal, they just lost track of what they were doing on the pitch. And the Senegalese team took initiative and they punished them, especially the last goal scored by Mane. Imagine the build-up, it actually started from their own end of the pitch, talking about the Senegalese team, and a long thrust down the pitch to Mane. And God, you don't allow a player of the caliber and quality of Sadio Mane that freedom with the ball. And the guy put them to the sword, he punished them. And like I said, they've got to wait another year to impress whoever they want to impress. But the truth is, the quality in the Senegalese team was just too much for the Burkinabes to handle against Tunisia. They played so confidently because where were the stars in the Tunisian national team? All right? But they allowed the big guys in Senegal to outmuscle them, and they paid dearly for it. Bad enough.
Okay. Let's flip now and talk about Senegal. They've been in the final twice in recent memory, in Mali 2002, Egypt 2019. The fans are excited. So the question is, what's different now? They've been in the final twice in recent memory. They didn't win. But the excitement, the levels, and I could compare it with what was happening in Nigeria when we played the first 3 games and our expectations went sky high. But for the Senegalese, even though a lot of people were saying they've not really lightened up the space, but now the fans are beginning to believe. And so the question is, what is different? You've been in the final twice, you've not won. Why do they feel that this time will be different?
Build up to the final has been fantastic for Senegal. They started the competition very, very slowly. And before the edition of the competition, in 2019, there's been graduation, so to say, in the Senegalese team. There's been this belief since the competition. They started with with winning their first game by a lone goal, a penalty. A lot of people just felt, oh, is this the Senegalese team that we've been waiting to excel when the competition started? But the build-up has been low. Guys have shown that they can do something and do something well. I think something is happening out there in Cameroon. I think Yemi wants to tell somebody, the viewers something.
All right, so those pictures from what you have on your screen, fans, Senegalese fans, and that's why I was asking Bimbo earlier if he feels. I mean, these guys are just enjoying the moment right about now, and it does appear to them like it's going to be different this time. There's something that came to my mind that I also want to ask you. A lot of people are beginning to say it's time African teams begin to trust homegrown coaches. We saw the example of the Nigerian coach won the tournament last night. Lucy say looking like he might also do it for Senegal. So how easy is it for a coach, homegrown, somebody who's from that country, handling stars, probably guys who play in Europe? How easy will it be? Because it looks like that's the direction a lot of people want to start going with African national teams.
Truth is, if you can't grow your football yourself, if you can't grow your coaches yourself, nobody will grow them for you. Hey, enough of all these guys coming from obscure places to come take glory in Africa. Enough of Africa not believing in themselves. The Burkinabe coach said the same, I think, some 2 days ago, that it's high time Africa started in homegrown coaches. I recall before Nigeria went to the 2013 edition of the African Nations Cup, we had 2 coaches who won the competition for us, Otto Gloria in 1980 and Clemens Vesterhoff in 1994. And a lot of Nigerians were skeptical. Could Keshi do this? Keshi took a bunch of inexperienced boys, even some of them from the local teams in Nigeria, to the African Nations Cup, and they stunned everyone, including yours sincerely. So it's time. It's about time we started believing in our coaches. Give them everything that you give the foreign coaches. For instance, if a foreign coach wants 300 footballs for training, they supply them. If they want the team camped somewhere in Portugal for a tournament, they immediately allow them. If they want players from the moon to be convinced to come play for the country, they satisfy the foreign coach. Is it about the color of the skin, or your ability to put confidence in the guys who have a black skin like yours, like a black skin like yours? So it's about time we started looking in that direction. Send them out on refresher courses, enable them with all that they need to prosper on the job, and they will do well. Keshi won everything before he came over to Nigeria, and on record, I think it's the 3rd African. Oh, he was. He's late now. He was the 3rd African to coach 3 African teams. He started with Togo, got them the World Cup ticket. Unfortunately, he was booted out. Moved over to Mali, did very well with Mali. They played the Nations Cup. Came over to Nigeria. The Nations Cup that we have not won in 19 years, he gave it to us. God did it for him. And he qualified us to the World Cup, got to the level the white man had ever gotten to in our history. That was the 2nd round. What more? So we expected that after Keshi, there should have been a transition to another coach who has seen it all, playing for Nigeria, who has been there in Europe, who has rubbed shoulders with the big guys, so to say, outside of Africa, and just give him the initiative. He takes it from there and he runs with it. And that's what I think Africa and Africans should start thinking about right now. The truth is, a foreign coach cannot win you the World Cup. So why pay $30,000 US a month on them, whilst you give our guys pittance? At times you even owe them. You tell them, hey, you should be celebrating that your country rated you good enough to come boss the national team. I think we should shift from that line of thought, empower these guys, give them all that they need, and I want to promise they will succeed.
All right. I hope the authorities are listening because there's a shift across all of Africa and people are beginning to think in that direction. Well, our man, Austin Okonakman, is right there in Cameroon. He put a report together on the game between Burkina Faso and Senegal. Let's enjoy this report and we come back to have some more discussion around the Nations Cup.
Football fans couldn't wait to see the semi-final match between Burkina Faso and Senegal. 4 hours before kickoff, they were already at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium right here in Yaoundé. The presence of security operatives was massive. Their job was to maintain orderliness. The medical team were also on ground. COVID-19 checks were thorough. Fans who were not vaccinated must present a negative test result. When verified, a band is placed on the wrist. Wait a minute, you won't just walk into the stadium. More security checks will be done to ensure no one goes in with contrabands. Inside the stadium, it was all vibes. Supporters kept singing and dancing. When the players came out to warm up, spectators couldn't wait for action to begin. At full time, it was Senegal 3, Burkina Faso 1, another final for the Teranga Lions. Their supporters took the celebrations outside.
We have fighting, and we have fighting. We need this trophy, and we are here this last Sunday, and we need to go back to Dakar with the trophy.
Sweet victory for the Teranga Lions of Senegal. Who will be their opponent in the final? Will it be the indomitable Lions of Cameroon or the Pharaohs of Egypt? Today, football will give us the answer. From the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé, Cameroon, Austin Okonakman, Channels Television News.
Our man Austin Okonakman right there in Yaoundé, giving us all the things happening right there, especially after that game played yesterday, Burkina Faso and, of course, Senegal. It's no longer news that Senegal is through till the final. Will they be third time lucky? Lost it in 2002, also lost the final in 2019. Will they get it this time? Of the teams remaining in the competition, they're the only ones that have not won this tournament before. All right, let's give you a situation report in that semi-final. Let's quickly take a look at what is happening right as we speak. It's the second half, and it's still goalless. It's still goalless. A very tight game. Both teams not wanting to give an inch. So if this continues this way, we might see extra time, but still a long way to go. Bimbo Adeola is still with us. Before we go on the break, let me get Bimbo's thoughts. Bimbo, it appears that both sides not wanting to give in, but my question is, do you think we'll see a goal in regulation time?
I would love to see a goal in regulation time. I don't want to see penalty kicks. It could go either way. I would love to see a goal. I would love to see an exquisite finish. Could be from Toko Ekambi. I love the way he plays football. Or the man who knows how to do it, or Mohamed Salah. They've tried as much as possible to keep him away from the ball. He's been running about 40 meters to have a grab at the ball, which is a very, very good strategy or tactics by the bench of the Cameroonians, except for the snapshot that Salah took in the first half. We've not really seen Salah in his element in this game. Okay, so I would love to see a goal, no doubt. I won't want the match to go into penalties at all.
All right, I'm with you on that. I'd love to see a goal as well, even though I won't be able to see it. I'm seated right here. But maybe the screams around me, I'll know if there's a goal, if a goal has been scored. All right, we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll still be talking about the African Cup of Nations, the game currently going on, and all the stories surrounding the African Cup of Nations currently going on in Cameroon. We'll go for that break and return for more. Sports Time. All right, we'll still have to go back to that semi-final just in case while we were on break, if anything happened. Let's quickly give you a situation report and see if anything has changed. Things happen in football in the blink of an eye. Let's see if there's anything to report. Unfortunately, there's nothing to report as of now. So it's still goalless over 60 minutes of football played. We're in the second half. We've not seen a goal, but of course, we would love to see a goal in this one. Both sides still keeping it tight in this one. So we'll see. All right. So B-Boy is still with me. And let me just quickly ask you something. Away from this game a little, we're going to go back to this game. Austin Okonakwan is on standby. Will be joining us. But there was a little matter of some comments made by Samuel Eto'o and Carlos Queiroz in his response. Also made some comments when Samuel Eto'o said, okay, this is war. And the coach said, no, you don't have to speak like that, especially after people had just died. And my question to you is, all those things, are they just mind games, or the coach of Egypt has a right to say that those comments from Samuel Eto'o shouldn't be comments an experienced person like Eto'o should be making ahead of a big game?
Don't forget, Eto'o just retired from football. That's one. Two, he just took over the reins of Fecafoot. So he needs to impress. He needs to show that, hey, an ex-footballer is now an administrator of the sport, and he needs a win, he needs the trophy badly. There's a trophy he's won before, a tournament he has bossed before now, and is in charge right now. He needs all the mind games he could bring up to how would I say it now, to push fear into the Egyptians. Carlos Queiroz is thinking like the European that he is, but in Africa, truth is every tournament is like you are going to war. The war front is the pitch. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's life is going to be lost. But the truth is you are at war. And until the 90 minutes is over, or 120 minutes, the game is not won. The war is not won. So you are there to conquer. That's the mindset of Samuel Eto'o, and I think he has a right to qualify the game, the semi-final game, the way he chooses to qualify it. And of course, Carlos Queiroz too has a right to think it the other way. So for Samuel Eto'o, it's war, it's football, let's do it, and he needs it badly. And that's why the guy said so, and he's still thinking like a footballer anyway. So I can't really blame him. He needs it to add to his CV. He needs to show his people that he's capable and it's able to deliver. And don't forget, he's under pressure. They are hosting the tournament for the first time in a long time, and he needs the trophy like everybody needs oxygen.
Okay, I like the way you put it. Let me also ask you, as we prepare to wrap things up, the hosts, your appraisal of their performance so far. There's been the blip with the situation in Olembe where people lost their lives, but generally, looking at maybe the quality of the pitch, quality of organization, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, what will you give the hosts?
Maybe 5.5. In a competition of this magnitude, you would expect that the host, the government would have put everything in proper position, in proper shape before they start to host it. Don't forget, too, that the world never wanted this competition to hold, especially Europe. The bad press, in the European media, in the British press, they never wanted this thing to hold. And now they even celebrated even more than us the lives that were lost at the Olympic Stadium. That's A. B, the pitches, some of the pitches are simply eyesore. That's the truth. The stuff, in and that we are witnessing African Nations Cup, and I think it's been so far on the pitch. Hello?
Yeah. Okay. So, thoughts about the hosts and the situation before the competition started. Bimbo giving us his thoughts on all of that, and of course, all those thoughts well taken. So we have to go back again and see what is happening. We'll promise to be your eyes and your ears in Cameroon to tell you what is happening. Of course, two teams who have won the competition more than any other person, more than any other country. I dare say Cameroon with 5, Egypt with 7, 14 AFCON titles between them. Both of them locked in the semi-final, and it is goalless. And of course, neutral football fans want to see goals. I've seen a lot of people today talk about saying they would love to see Egypt and Senegal, probably want one of Sadio Mane and Mo Salah to win the tournament, probably so that when they're choosing or nominating players to be the best in the world, they would have something to point to and say, he won this, he won that. All right, so since Bimbo is the more experienced person, let me throw this to him quickly. Do you think if Mo Salah or Sadio Mane ends up winning this AFCON, their names will be thrown in the mix when they are, probably nominating players for the best player in the world, and will it add to their chances of winning that award? Remember, since 1995, no African has come close after George Oponwe won that award, and a lot of us would love to see an African win that award. So those two players look to be well placed. And a title of this magnitude, do you think will help the cause?
Why not? If not, they've shown to the world that they are the best, some of the best players in the game. They've shown they've won the UEFA Champions League. They've won the league in England, one of the best leagues in the world. They are doing very well on the continental stage right now, and they need this so badly to add to their CVs to tell everyone that they're just fantastic. And so far, so good, especially for Sadio Mane. Personally, I want Sadio Mane to win this. Why? Because Senegal has never won the African Nations Cup before. For God's sake, the Egyptians have been winners 7 times. Cameroon 5 times. Senegal not just once. So I want that feather to be added to Sadio Mane's cap. I want him to feel cool about himself too, that he's one of the kings of African football by winning the African Nations Cup. And eventually, when everything will be counted about what you've done for your club, what you've done for your country, that would come in handy. That, hey, this guy too did it for his country, and it would just be very fantastic. Not taking anything away from Mohamed Salah, arguably one of the best footballers in the world since last year up until now, and he will want to win. His fans want to see him win. Liverpool fans should be enthralled if both players lead their countries to the final. It will be wonderful, and there will be kind of division in the camp of the Liverpool fans, so to say, if eventually the Egyptians are able to beat Cameroon today and qualify for the final to play against the Senegalese. So it won't be out of place to see Mane versus Salah in the final of the African Nations Cup. But like I say, my heart beats for Sadio Mane. My heart beats for Senegal, not because they're from West Africa, but because I think they need this too. I recall the days of Jules Bokande,
yes,
one of flowery African footballers we've ever seen on the pitch. Jules Bokande was wonderful, and he never won it. They produced fantastic footballers. They went to the World Cup at some point. Their very first World Cup, the very first match, they defeated the defending champions of the World Cup, France, and it's just, I think I want them to win. I think I want Senegal to win. I want Man, and well, maybe if Egypt are able to make it to the final, his luck will come another time. That's Mo Salah.
Okay, all right. So still talking about the AFCON, another interesting part of the AFCON that has divided opinion, the use of the VAR, or should I say, the interpretation of whatever the VAR shows to the ref. It has divided opinion. I mean, for instance, a game yesterday, the ref pointed to the spot 3 times, and on each occasion went to the VAR. The VAR said no, that wasn't a penalty. And a lot of people have called into question some of the decisions made in this tournament, where we're looking at one thing, we're seeing it one way. The ref goes to view the VAR, and it comes out to make a decision, and we're watching TV and like, could this be right? But I want to get your thoughts overall, what you think about the inclusion of the VAR in this tournament, and overall the application from the referees.
Oh, well, before yesterday's game, a lot of flags for the referees and the interpretation of the VAR. At some point, you wonder, the referee blows, he goes to the VAR, he comes back, he gives a red card. He goes to the VAR, he comes back, there's a penalty. So we were at a loss, so to say, yesterday, when the man decided to respect the VAR, and the Burkinabes were simply very lucky. I think, to my mind, one of the 2 decisions yesterday should have gone to the Senegalese team. They should have been given at least a penalty. And backtracking to Nigeria's game against Tunisia, I will still argue it, not because I'm a Nigerian, till tomorrow, that red card to Alex Iwobi was unjustifiably given him. It shouldn't have been a red card. He went for the ball not with the intent to injure any player, not with the intent to commit a red card. And the man did not even bat an eyelid. He just gave it to him, a red card. It should have been a yellow. I felt bad as a football watcher. I felt bad as a Nigerian. But unfortunately, he did what's done, and it paid back Nigeria at some point in the game, and it's history. We're out of the tournament. So I think subsequently, going forward, there should be a better interpretation of the video assistant referee. The referees too should know that robots are not playing this game called football. Humans are playing this football, and the guys in the VAR room too should understand that it's a contact sport, and you just don't brandish red cards like you're dealing with robots. You don't just give penalties like you can have an afterthought. So for the VAR so far. You could score the VAR maybe 50, 55 over 100. And I know subsequently, as the competition progresses, as the competition progresses, there will be better interpretation of the VAR, and we'll enjoy this game much more better than we are right now.
All right, but we still have to go back to that semi-final before we let you go, so that we can get your final thoughts. Let's, of course, situation report right there. Let's take a look at what is happening, that game between Cameroon and of course, Egypt. Situation report as it is right now, and it's still goalless after about, of course, 75 minutes of football played. Over 75 minutes of football played in that semi-final. All right, let me go to you, Bimbo. Your parting shot on the show tonight is goalless as we're speaking, but how do you think this will end? We'll take you up on that next time when we have the opportunity to speak with you, but how do you think this will end?
I hope Cameroon will not regret missing all the begging chances in the first half. Toko Nkambi had an opportunity, he missed it. Ngode had an opportunity, he miskicked. The Egyptians must improve defensively as the game wears down, and they must ensure that they close all the holes, the gaps. They are allowing the Cameroonians out from the wings. They need to close the gaps and not allow the Cameroonians, especially Toko Ekambi and Vincent Abubakar, and ensure too is not giving that liberty to rove in the midfield. Be that as it may, I don't want to stick my neck out for any of the teams. They are well-respected bunch of players, fantastic teams to have gotten to the semi-final. But something tells me, my gut feeling tells me that the Cameroonians will just carry the day, even though they have a heavy burden on their shoulders playing before their countrymen and women. But the Egyptians, if they allow them to play with confidence, like I am saying it right now, they may regret at the end of the day.
All right. Bimbo Adiola, I want to thank you for your time on the show. It's really appreciated. Hopefully, we'll get to do this some other time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, that was Bimbo Adiola, well-respected journalist, sports journalist, and of course, a voice in Nigerian football. All right, let's move on. Okay, before we move on, we have to actually end this segment. And again, I'll still go back to that semi-final just in case before we end this segment. Let's see again. We promise to be your eyes and your ears, and we will always go back to that game just in case anything has happened. There you have it. Nothing has happened. It is still goalless, and that signals the end of this segment. All right, we'll take a pause, catch our breath, and of course discuss the other things happening in the world of sports. All right, welcome back. Of course, we're coming home now. Let's take a look at, of course, the gameplay today in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Gombe United and MFM. Let's give to you the results. 3-0 it ended. Gombe United carrying the day, winning that game. I'm very sure you'll see a confirmation of the result right there on your screen. Nigeria Professional Football League is what we are talking about. Match day 10 complete now with this game. Gombe United beating Mountain of Fire and Miracles Football Club 3-0. 3-0. What a win. So that's it. All right. Since match day 10 is complete, let's take a look at the table, what it looks like on the table after 10 matches, 28 matches to go. But as at after day 10, okay, probably we'll get to that as we move on the show. I would have loved to show you what it looks like on the table after 10 matches, but because we'll do that later. Let's come home now, of course, to talk about Grassroots. We've talked about Nigeria Professional Football League. Let's talk about grassroots football. Let's talk about a club that has just begun their race in the Nigerian National League. Talking about Sporting Lagos. Of course, Sporting Lagos is a proudly Lagos-based football club that will be playing in the Nigerian National League. That's the second division of Nigerian club football. They have ambitions to be promoted to the first division. That's the NPFL we just talked about. Of course, the club at a media briefing in Lagos have unveiled plans for their debut season in the NLL. They've unveiled those plans to the Nigerian media. So these are some of the pictures from the press parley, the press conference that they had to introduce themselves. And as you can see in your picture, recognizable faces in Nigerian football. Let's allow you to listen to the chairman of Sporting Lagos, well-respected sports journalist Godwin Enagana, and of course the vice president of Nigerian Football Federation, Sheyi Akinomi. Both of them were at that event. Let's listen to them. We'll come back for more Sports Tonight.
With the young man behind this project is someone who started something from nowhere that has gotten to the pinnacle. And like I said before, I sold a dummy to him. I gave him all the negatives about Nigerian football, what he was going to go through. I thought that would scare him. He said, no, that is the more reason he wants to get involved. That this football in the world is a gold mine. Why we have not cracked it? is what bothers him, and that is what we are here to do. We'll not just be, like they say, packaging and packaging or branding and branding. We're going to have good football. Of course, what is branding without good football? And that's why we're going to go out to get the best of the best as far as players are concerned. We're going to be competing with the Premier League in terms of salaries of players. Let me say it here in the open, that the least paid player in Sporting Lagos will not earn anything less than 150,000 naira.
The first thing I'd like to advise is that they should look at templates of properly run football clubs across the world, and if possible, interface with a few of the ones that are established, because many of these clubs are willing to actually discuss management of clubs with you. Speak with the FAs here, of course, and even across the world. You have access to all of this, apart from the documentation, and then implement. And don't be in a hurry. Change takes time. So I think one of the things that's happened over time with some of the clubs in Lagos is that we have these ideas. I keep on saying, look, if you have an idea, 1,001 people have that same idea. It's the implementation that counts.
Well, a good start for Sporting Lagos, where all of the big wigs involved in all of that. We're going for a break right about now. When we come back, we'll be on the home stretch. We'll talk about all the things happening, the semi-final currently going on, and of course, we'll talk about, other things in the world of sports, especially the Winter Olympics. All right, we're on the home stretch now. Let's continue from where we left it off. Let's talk about the general manager of the club. We'll listen to him. That's Sporting Lagos, that is. Let's listen to him unveil their plans. That's the new football club, their plans, and what they hope to achieve with their efforts. Okay, all right, we'll get to that as soon as we have it. All right, so let's move on, and we're going to be talking about football transfers. This time, a completed transfer. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is in Barcelona, is being unveiled in Barcelona. Of course, he's talked about how happy he is. Part of his family is from Spain. He talked about it. Also, he has a lot of people close to him in Spain. Now he's with Barcelona and he's talking about helping the club to achieve their objectives, their aims. And here you have Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at his unveiling, a very happy Aubameyang. And of course, he is ready to help the Catalan Giants, of course, get back into the Champions League. That's the immediate assignment for the club. He will be wearing jersey number 25 for the club. Okay, so let's move on the show tonight. Let's talk about the Winter Olympics. Opening ceremony is going to be tomorrow. But what is going on right now is that the Olympic torch is moving around. It's moving around right there in China. And it has gone to Zhangjiakou. That's the city that the Olympic torch is touring right about now. Like I said, tomorrow is going to be the opening ceremony. A lot of things will happen. The organizers have decided that, of course, they will stage an opening ceremony that will leave a lot in the minds of people. Pictures you have on your screen from, of course, that torch relay. And like I said, some events have already started at the Winter Olympics. Let's also talk about an interesting development at the Beijing Olympics. International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach has been speaking amid calls for some made by some rights groups to boycott the event, some calling for sanctions on China. But Thomas Bach, in a swift response, says if politics is mixed with sports, then nobody will be in Beijing. Let's listen to the IOC president. We'll come back to wrap things up on the show.
And with regard to your second question, the Uyghur population, there again the position of the IOC must be, given the political neutrality, that we are not commenting on political issues, because otherwise, you know, if we are taking a political standpoint and we are getting in the middle.
All right, Thomas Bach saying, look, the can't mix politics with sports. You can't take a political standpoint when sports is involved. Athletes are prepared for this event. You can't deny them the opportunity to compete. Politicians can do their thing outside of sports. That's how much we can take on the show tonight. We do hope that you've enjoyed everything we've been able to do tonight. Tomorrow is another time we'll be back here to take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye.